Own way, teaching like a frame of reference so that kids can play catch by themselves, don't have to hire a private instructor for like $100 an hour when they're 8, right? Hopefully have an uncle, a friend, a brother, whatever, someone to play catch with them. All right, I had a wall. My dad worked till a certain time. I just had a piece of tape. I was John Birkin or Billy Swift. Pitched like just 20 innings straight when I was growing up. All right? So if there's a wall, piece of tape, that's great. Okay? That's a great place for them to play catch. But if you're on the field, say, hey, Timmy, you know, I noticed you at last practice when you were at Coach Anderson's field, you know, you were on the foul pole and your partner was at the first part of the scoreboard. Do you think you could get to the LG next time? And so open up their world, right? Because when they're young, they're just right here. So take a look, say, I want you to get to the tree next time. I want you to get to the tee in Los Gatos. All right? And so just when you start doing that, it actually helps them make the field smaller. You know what I mean? Because it's just opening up to really own their surroundings. And so now when you start talking about the trees, you can talk about wind and how that impacts the ball. If you're talking about the ground, hey, yeah, you got to get to that puddle over there. Now you can say, hey, there's a puddle, guys. So what does that mean? It means the ball's slippery. That means if I try to throw it harder, it's going to slip out of my hand. And so as much as you can use whatever field they're on to start creating that identity of ownership, they just get so much better at baseball. Because you guys all know how many variables there are, right? Like 2 teams showing up. One team could have a total advantage if they play here, and they know that at about 5 o'clock for every league game, the sun is absolutely brutal in right field. It is brutal. So a lot of the times, we're going to send a guy on a hard hit ball, and we're going to go first to third because they're really tentative going after the ball, right? Whereas the other team is not going to do this. So long story short, just as much as you guys, while they're throwing, because it's more of a relaxed atmosphere, right? They're just trying to play catch, start telling the story of their field. That's just a great time to start telling the story of their field, and you guys fill their heads with information. Just, oh yeah, see if you can get to that tree. I was like, hey, you see how the leaves are going back and forth? I go, oh, it's going to be a lot windier on Saturday, so make sure, Timmy, you're throwing strikes because the wind's supposed to be blowing out. All right, but this is a great time to have story time that actually relates to what we're doing, though. Not just random Fortnite talks when they get older. All right, because that's what's tough on the high school level. Okay? Right. So if you guys can grab the cones, put them right here, partner up, we're going to start our throwing program. Okay, go ahead, partner up.
Assume nothing, I always say it. Right, so 2 lines, real simple, glove out, right? You can tell them you're an alligator, right? And the alligator's hungry. And just flip it underhand. And while you're doing that, right, take note on who you can partner up with it. All right, once you figure that out, make sure we're spread out. Right? Because I always say we're playing catch, not fetch. And the team yells fetch, and they think that's fun. The problem is, right when you say go, you're going to have crossfire. Right? People are going to be ducking, everyone's going to be getting hit. I just really take it serious that this ball can ruin a kid's career. Like, he won't want to come back to it. All right? So when we jump into this, Nate's going to go through how to throw the ball and all that stuff. For the guys with the younger kids, right, really progress into it. Right? It might be the whole first 2 practices of the week, you and your coach are just going underhand until they're confident. Okay?
The first thing, you talk about you're controlling the ball, it's not controlling you. If you guys take a look at your baseball, right, you want the horseshoe on the left or the right. Okay? So you want 4 seams. So when it rotates, you want all 4 seams, unless you're a pitcher, and now I'm trying to miss the barrel when I pitch it. But every other time in baseball, it's a 4 seam. Okay, so if it rotates, horseshoe on the right, horseshoe on the left, all right? Find the seams every time. That's a never-ending conversation when you get to our level. At high school, it's a never-ending conversation in Little League. The more you guys can talk about it, whether they do it 1 or 2 times, I'm telling you, just get that in their head. 4 seams. Find the seams. Now, a catcher, throwing out a guy in Little League when he's not even really running, is that really stealing? You know, we're not going to find it. You know, when we do like a little ricochet and I'm trying to throw a guy out. But I'm talking, you get the ball in your glove, you're playing catch, find 4 seams. Now you're going to have guys that are going to go 2 fingers, 3 fingers, or the whole hand. When I was 12, I didn't know this stuff. I was just grabbing the ball and just chucking it. All right? So just make sure they understand finger pressure and the seams. Just keep teaching them. Hey, how did it feel to put more pressure and get on top of the ball and spin it. Is that kind of like Steph Curry shooting a basketball shot? Right? You have backspin. And so just the more you guys can teach them that these are transferable skills in different sports, they're going to connect it. And at some point when they're watching the Warriors or doing something else, like, oh, this is kind of like shooting a basketball. Look, you kind of finish, you hold your follow through, I get that backspin. So the first thing that I like to do is I want to see the spin. And so we're just going to have no step. Now you guys, if you want, you can go to a knee, okay, depending on your team. You guys can go to a knee. And I'm just right here. I'm here, I go from here, and I try to make sure I follow through, because a lot of kids, they'll let it go and they won't follow through. So just a big point of emphasis is just have four seams set up. I'm going to throw the ball with just my wrist. I'm going to just isolate this part of the drill, and I'm going to throw it and I'm going to follow through. And the next thing what we want to do is we want to give a target right away. We all get lazy with that, whether we're grown men, grown women, we're coaching high school, professional baseball, whatever it is. We all get lazy with the target. We just do. Okay, so reinforce that as much as you can. There's a game called head and chest. If people are playing head and chest, when we come down to watch the Little League team play, that's awesome. 1 point here, 2 points for the face. Or, you don't want balls going towards the face, you just have 1 point for the chest. Go up to 10, right? And the game lasts the entire time they're playing catch. So now it's truly a game. All right, so for right now, we're just gonna take 1 minute. I just want you guys right here, feet in the ground. I just want perfect backspin, pull down on the seams. That's what we should see. Okay, 1 minute, here we go.